Hi, I'm Lyric Michelle. I am Lyric, about to do the Perso Sweet with High Thoughts TV. Yeah, um, my parents are Nigerian, and when they came here, they had a kind of a, I mean, it was in like the 80s, so they were African, so it wasn't a good time for them. So they wanted to find the most American name for all of their kids. So they named me Michelle. And but my middle name is Orga Dima, and that means it will all be well. So when I started to do poetry in high school and a little bit after, I started going by Lyric, because you know what I mean, about a lot of bars. But I guess it was maybe a couple of years ago where I put them together, Lyric Michelle, because it's like also Lyric was kind of a alias that helped me get past some things that Michelle couldn't at the time. So Lyric performs Michelle's poetry. I mean, I definitely remember like Michael Jackson and having the record and my parents playing it when I was a kid. And it's also funny, my mom coming to, first I was born in Chicago, but I was raised in Houston. And my mom coming to Texas and falling in love with country music also opened my mind to country music more. I like even like a Johnny Cash, but it was really first my brothers putting me up on all things hip hop. You know what I mean? Like from a kid, when I was 8 years old. My brother, I think he took me to the screw shop. He's like, "You gotta come." Yeah, I'm like, all right. I was like, "What's this place? Why is there a glass?" And then I have three brothers, so my other older brother, he played me nothing but Lupe Fiasco, Royce the 5'9", and then my oldest, like, made us watch all of Tupac's documentaries, like, 5 times, so I've seen it all, and I fell in love. Yeah. I think it's extremely important. I mean, it's the basis of what one of the biggest renaissances of civilization, the written word. I mean, that communication is just unmatched. I mean, it almost in a way gets to easily express what music is trying to. So sometimes a smooth, beautiful violin solo can emote these emotions that the lyrics can help to accentuate. You know what I mean? And I feel like even in college a little bit, I was a poetry minor. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with that? I don't know, my parents wanted me to be like a doctor, so I was a biology major, and I was like, let me double major in poetry, then I make it a minor, and then I left school. But when I was a poetry in class, we were studying all these people, all these poets, and even growing up, one of my biggest influences is Maya Angelou, and I'm studying like Langston Hughes, and I'm like, lyrics in poetry and in literature and in hip hop are still very complex, and they use the same literary tools, and like Kendrick just got a fucking Pulitzer. Like, I think it's important because that's how we sometimes that's how we assign like intellectualism to like something. Like, is it worth, and if it's intellectual, then it's worth something. So hip hop, like, if you're not paying attention to the lyrics and the vast scheme of everything, you're like, oh, that don't mean nothing. They're not saying nothing because the lyrics don't say nothing. Even if the song is emoting the feelings with the instruments, with the bass, with the 808s, like some Yeezus stuff, people will still be like, if they're not saying nothing, it means nothing. So, all right, bet. well, let's attach some stuff. Let's do some, like, you know what I mean, Far Side shit. Let's do some mob, like, that's so hip hop. All right, you don't understand that this means something, even when it's hip hippity that. You don't understand that that means something to us. That's joy. All right, I'll tell you specifically why, and then that just helps to, I don't know, assign that sort of gravity that we deserved in the first place. Yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, it literally saved my life. Like, I remember the time where I wasn't sure about where I wanted to go. History with just, I don't know, trying to make it, and by make it, I mean, like, in life. Like, this is before I even thought I could take hip hop seriously. I was just doing it because I liked it. But then, you know, from abuse to, I don't know, stay in my car, just to not having a direction. It's almost like it spoke to me, and it does that to millions of people every day. So yeah. You know, I don't know. I do know that in 5th grade, I wrote 2 and illustrated, and I was so proud of myself. Children's books, because I was like, I want to be a children's writer. So, like, it was like maybe 15, 20 pages each or whatnot. And I always wanted to be a writer. I actually don't remember a time where I haven't written. I do remember the first time I wrote a poem that I performed. And that one was because I was, like, super into poetry, and my homegirl sang, and I wanted to make a song for my boyfriend at the time. So I did a poem while she sang under it, and I recorded it, and I gave it to him with, like, a mixtape. I was like, yes, and, like, he really didn't give a fuck about it, but I thought it was good, and there was a open mic, so me and her went. And then we won, so I never looked back. Yeah. I mean, with everything I do, I just want to connect people and connect with people and live as much as this life as possible. There's so much life to live. And at the end of the day, I just want to say that I was an artist and I created. And if that's from nursing to creating connections so that people feel comfortable with me and helping them guide their treatment, is that with music. So I'm creating a fucking vibe and a world and a universe to live in, or if that's, you know, movies or documentaries. I mean, you know what I mean, everything. Right now I'm writing a script for my short series. I'm gonna begin in pre-production soon, so I just want to continue. That was weird, actually, but it wasn't. It was almost like, I don't know, I think he liked one of my pictures on Instagram, and I was like, nigga, if you like one more, I'm sliding them DMs. You think I'm not? You think, what the fuck you think? I think, and then SZA liked one, and then he did. And then, so I was like, hey, I'm a rapper. I was just wondering if I could, you know, the thing you do when you move to LA, like, can I buy you a coffee and pick your brain type shit. And he was cool. And we just started going back and forth. I asked him a question, and he was like, are you gonna ask me a real question, or are we just gonna be cordial? I was like, huh, what? I don't even know you. That's dope. Stop. So yeah, he's just been a really good mentor. Yeah, this past 2 years, it's been incredible. Yeah, I never actually said what happened during that conversation. And LA's weird that way. Like, I'm not trying to say like Kanye's the homie, you know what I mean? But I was at his Sunday service, which, you know, we all feel mixed feelings about Kanye, but what you can't deny is that when he makes music, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. So I was in there, and it was this dome, and the music was just resonating, and it was just, and I knew from being in LA and going to open mics and going to studios and just hanging with anyone that wants to create, I knew like 4 or 5 of the different like background singers. I knew shout out to Jordan Donald for, he's a saxophone player. I just, we all, especially if you're black, in any city, like I don't care like what level you're supposed to be at, we all gonna meet each other. You know what I mean? And that's Houston. So when I was there, and then the function was done, but we were just all talking, I was like, nigga, I'm gonna ask this nigga a question. And because it's College Dropout changed the way that I thought I could, it made me believe I can do music. You know what I mean? Oh, like I can talk from my perspective. Like, that's different. So I asked him, so it was also the 15th year anniversary for College Dropout that day. So I asked him, when you made the record, were you thinking that you just wanted to be as true and authentic to yourself? Were you thinking that you just wanted to tell your story? Or did you have in mind that you wanted to change the landscape of hip-hop? The first time he did it. And he was just like he was on TV. He was like, oh, we trying to change the landscape now. That's always what we have in mind. And I'm like, I want this. I don't care. There's no limit to how big you can think. Like, people who change things in that way, people who make this type of like movement, and I'm not just even talking about Kanye music, but like anyone, from how Obama got elected to how Jay-Z became the first billionaire to how any of us do anything to really make a wave. You have to do everything you can to create a harmony that will create the tide that then eventually creates the wave. And how the hell do you think that happens on accident? You know what I mean? All those things in the harmonious alignment just creating a tide that changes a wave? Nah. So you have to think that that's what you want to do before you do it. So that's what I want to do. I think both. I think it's okay that I think we were made to know that there is an answer, but not equipped yet. Well, equipped, but we haven't come to the realization yet of what that answer is. And it's almost like, if I gave you an answer, then why would you even continue to build and learn and try? And in those buildings and those learnings and those storms or whatever, that's like when you're really understanding something about yourself. Like, the reason why the world is the way the world is means nothing until you understand why you are the way you are. If you haven't done that, then how could you possibly conceive of the way the world is? So I think it's both, and I think it's everything and nothing. And I think what's written is that thing that makes you feel good, that purpose. And not good in the sense that when you eat ice cream or whatnot, you feel good or whatever. Because if you keep eating ice cream every day, the rest of your life, you'll feel like shit. Something that's really genuinely good. So when you're honest with somebody and that feels good, then you're moving closer to your purpose. When you're honest with yourself, you're moving closer to your purpose. When you're striving and doing things that fulfill you, those feel good and they never feel bad. And then you move, even when you're dealing with a problem, and if you deal with it in the way that is true to yourself, eventually it starts to feel good. So that line of what feels good to you, of what your personal purpose is, I mean, you didn't choose it. We don't choose that. So that has to be written. I didn't choose. All I want is to be completely satisfied in a 9-to-5. Nigga, what? That would be lovely. I would just go to work, you know what I mean? Put on my show and like let the tide take me. But it doesn't feel good. No matter how many times I've tried it, I didn't put that there. Someone wrote that. But whether or not I read that book is up to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, snap. You're one of the first people to ask me those questions. I can't wait for all these questions. The project's coming. It's called Memo. It's really just a compilation of the feelings and the growth that I've just, I don't know, been able to experience in this last year and a half, coming from Houston and going to LA, and dealing with isolation and dealing with my demons and dealing with almost having to accept the truth of who I am and all the ugly and all the good and all the bad, in order to get to where I haven't been to. I have to be someone else. And that's okay, because, you know, we're always becoming something else, hopefully. Well, that doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? So I made these voice memos I didn't know what I was going to do with, but just to capture a feeling throughout this year and a half, and I just created a project around it. Yeah. I've been kind of going to a couple of the same studios. First is Chris Rockaway, who did my last project, Misdirection. Chris Rockaway, I've been working with him for years, and he's done like 50% of the project, and we've been recording out of his studio. But then I met Punch. You know what I mean? And if you know me, you know I don't go nowhere without asking questions. Like, I'm trying to learn everything there is to learn. So eventually, I started recording out of a couple of the studios that he helped me out with, and the producer and engineer he was working with is Hari, who I was introduced to, who is just an amazing, talented Indian kid born in Kenya, raised in America, with locked hair that locked on accident type of, you know what I mean? Long as hell, because you just never cut it before. Kind of free spirit. And I just got into, to really explore my sound. I honestly don't, my only opinion is that there is no overreaching opinion that can apply to everybody. Because I have my homegirl, Cam Franklin, one of like my closest friends. So she's taught me a lot in music, as being a woman from the Sufferers. And she's based out in Houston. She's always traveling, but she's based in Houston, and she loves living in Houston. And I've only seen that blossom into beauty for her and for the Sufferers. It's been so beautiful to see them. But for me, I was still searching for my place. Not in a city, but like within myself, and what I wanted and how I wanted to express these feelings and shit. So for me personally, after searching in Houston, my home, my love, and after going through all the open mic circuits and all the ciphers and throwing all the shows and throwing sold out shows and opening for people and community service and protesting and being my friends and just really living it as much as I could. I just know I'm just a traveler. So it's not as if leaving Houston specifically is why I had to find that. So I just had to leave what was most comfortable for me. And if you are in a comfortable place, then yeah, I'd say maybe you should leave. But if that's not how you feel, if you have a different energy and you feel like, then fucking keep doing what you're doing. That's all it is. Yeah. Ooh-wee. Man, I saw Erykah Badu at the Soul Train Awards. I got to go in Vegas, and it was fucking electrifying. She's one of the first women that made me believe like I could wear my hair natural and be cute. Like she had this like big fro with this t-shirt. I was like, oh, I could do that. I didn't know. But I have to say, Lauryn Hill, she's top 5 for me. I don't care if you say she has one album. She does not. Fuji's count. She's rapping all up on there. But, you know what I mean? For me, top 5, so.
So, like, pieces of balance within yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, because my mind just goes sometimes. And that's great for getting things done, but it's not great for, like, anxiety or stress. So I try as much as I can to burn that away with working out. So if I'm really busy from like studios and meetings and work and all that stuff, then I'm cool. But the minute that I have like a week where I don't have a lot planned or whatnot, I'm like, oh, I gotta be in the gym just to know that I'm constantly building. But the coolest thing about that is because I was in LA and I was posting, I post my like, hey, I went for a run today. Good morning. I met this guy at a bar, and Jarek, and we exchanged numbers, and I was like, oh, he's trying to get at me. Oh, who knows? But turned out he was worked for Nike, and he was just trying to wonder if I wanted to work with them as well. Like, so he saw, I think, or someone told me they saw from the team that they saw some of my videos of working out and running and stuff. So he was like, do you ever think you want to run a marathon? And I'm like, yeah, because you say yeah, because why not? I want to live life, but did I ever have actual plans to sign up? Nah, when am I gonna, I ain't got no time for that, no. But yeah, so I said yes, because I try not to say no unless it's a hard no. It's one of my boundaries. But yeah, so like an hour later, I got an email, and last year I was, and this year I still, but starting last year I was part of the Nike Women's Marathon Project, and they picked about 40 to 30 girls who had never ran a marathon before, and who were just dreamers themselves and entrepreneurs, and from like radio hosts that like were really bringing like a strong feminine perspective to a boxer. And shout out to Amberly, who's just like this fierce ass boxer. It's crazy. That's big tattoo and this cute little cut. I'm like, stop it! Like, it's a fighter. And they trained us for like 6 months in their facilities, the facilities like LeBron was in, and all these people. Chris Paul, I think I saw him one time. I'm not supposed to say that, but all these facilities that are like, you would just never got to see unless you're a top tier athlete of the world. And they like measured our feet. They recorded us running, like fixed our angles, like strength training. Shout out to the coaches, Coach Blue and Coach Beck, who are just inspirations, like. Because the whole journey, and then we ran the Chicago Marathon, and the whole journey was about pushing yourself. And of course, you've never done this before, so it's hard. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. Just you haven't yet. So, yeah. Post y'all pics on IG. I don't care. You know what I mean? There's opportunity everywhere. I mean, I just really want to shout out to tomorrow at Navik. I'm getting the opportunity to, in September, go to Malawi in Africa and join Win. It's a beautiful and incredibly talented producer and DJ Dahi, and we're gonna go and help some boys and girls songwrite, and just cause like working with the U.S. Ambassador's Office, working with just a lot of the local nonprofits, and I'm just really excited to be included. Yeah. How y'all doing? I am Lyric. Follow me at I am Lyric everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, and lyricmichelle.com. And that's all I got.